From the creators who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing, this is World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Wow Report, where we count down the top 10 things of the week that made us go wow. I'm Fenton Bailey, co-founder of World of Wonder, joined this week by some very special guests. So normally James St. James is here, but he had so much fun getting ready for DragCon. He fell over, broke his arm, and is convalescing. So we send him lots of love and a speedy recovery. And Tom Campbell is out on a secret mission. So very excited to welcome Blake to the show, the producer who's normally somewhat behind the scenes.
Hi.
Stephan Horbelt, who has a very special reveal coming up later in the show.
Is it that kind of reveal? Because he looks really hot. He looks really like he is like he's daddy AF, I think the kids say.
Good time to mention that if you're listening on the radio, you can also see our glowing, dewy faces on our YouTube channel, Wow Presents. So you can watch this these shenanigans with all the extra bits that we cut out for sanity's sake on YouTube.
I will not be showing my extra bits, though, just so we're
okay. Interest waning. This is where I leave you. I think it's the name of a movie and my sentiment at the moment.
And you've already heard his dulcet tones. The man who needs no introduction, our too infrequent special guest, Alec Mapa.
Hello, how do you do? You know, when you did that intro earlier, I have been doing for the past 2 years. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Squirrel Friends, the official RuPaul's Drag Race podcast. And you would not believe how difficult just saying that part is. I never get it right, and it's become a part of the show.
So let's kick it off. We're counting down the top 10 things of the week that made us go wow. You, Alec, you kick us off at number 10 with telling us what you did last weekend.
Number 10.
I went to DragCon and I saw all the queens up close and personal. I love that we had a brief talk earlier that they've become pop stars. And I love that. And it was a lot of women, a lot of kids, a lot of fans, and to see how drag has risen up in pop culture, how it's gone in the time since Drag Race is on in the book, and Don't Fuck It Up, an oral history of RuPaul's Drag Race. You spake a great deal about how drag queens were regarded in the community and the community at large before Drag Race. And drag queens were kind of the butt of the joke. They were clowns. They were not. Remember when they used to complain about drag queens at Pride? It was always Pride. Yeah, drag queens. Are they a good representation of our community? And now they're brand global ambassadors. So that was beautiful to see. And
it was always at gay pride parades. It was always people complaining about the drag queens and the fist fuckers. Do you remember?
The fist fuckers,
like,
yeah.
Just like ruining for everyone.
Yeah,
Isn't that in your book, Screen Age, Fenton?
Yes.
Speaking of Screen Age, at DragCon, because I broke James St. James's arm, I got to interview Fenton on his brand new book that's out now called Screen Age, which is all about how television changed pop culture. And I broke James's arm because he forgot his safe word.
It was Screen Age.
It was Screen Age. It was Screen Age.
It was Screen Rage. That was why you broke his arm.
It was Screen Rage. So
that's the sequel.
So DragCon is like, it must be a meta experience for you because you literally created this monster. What's that experience like for you?
I think my favorite thing about DragCon is the Queen's Walk. I mean, you know, just seeing them all come down the pink carpet is just, I just wish we could do that every day. You know, I suppose just when we open.
It's their curtain call.
But it sort of feels more and more like, you know, the United Nations of drag, that they come from, you know, multiple countries. And what I love most is like the way the queens like see each other. They're excited to see each other. It's like a sort of, you know, they're like a big family. And,
international sisterhood.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as someone who wasn't the least bit interested in all of the coronation stuff, I would much rather watch these queens go down a pink carpet every day than any of the royal family stuff in the UK. So
Didn't that seem
You have my vote.
stupid? I don't know if anybody here is a monarchist, but I saw that whole thing and I was like, what a waste of money.
Why couldn't Charles just look engaged? Like, just have his game face on. It's supposed to looking grumpy and bored.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Yeah. I said that he looked like that bratty kid at medieval times where we were all forced to go to his birthday party and he's just like, nobody's here because they mean it. Like that. That's what he looked like to me.
right. It's
Totally.
right. Well, the next DragCon is coming up in January in the UK, in London.
Really?
Yeah.
And you've been to that one as well. And what's that like? Is it comparable?
It is. The Brits are like I was going to say something. You know, they're not always as generous buying the merch as
Oh, they're cheapskates.
a little bit. You know, yeah.
All right. All right. Well, everything is more expensive over there.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a trans man who was my handler at a Pensacon. I was on a DC show called Doom Patrol. And so I went to a Comic-Con in Pensacola, and this trans man from Alabama who talked like this would say, when somebody came up to me, they and talked for more than 2 minutes, they said, "You want a picture? You want to buy something?" Like, it was just to keep it moving.
Moving it along, yeah.
Yeah. And so I took him around at DragCon and took him to see the queens. This guy he's so modest, and he doesn't have a lot of money, but he spent all this money to fly out here. So I basically took him trick-or-treating around DragCon, and it reminded me that we live in a bubble. You know, he lives in a really tough part of Florida where it's really tough to be an out trans man. And he had so much love and acceptance for the time that he was here. So that's what I really appreciated.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah. And it's really good news that the Drag Defense Fund with ACLU, I think it's now almost at 1.4 million raised.
Okay.
I think like 40,000 got raised at DragCon specifically. So that's really,
wow.
Really yeah.
Okay.
Right. Thank you everyone for the support.
Thank you everybody.
All right, well, let's go on to number 9. You see, there you go. 10 followed by 9.
Followed by 9. I keep forgetting. Listen, I used to drink.
Number 9.
Stephen and I had never been to a music festival. So a couple of years ago, we decided, let's go to Austin City Limits. We had a blast. We saw Miley Cyrus. We saw Billie Eilish.
Megan Thee
Stallion. So this year, we decided we were going to go to the Just Like Heaven Festival at the Rose Bowl. Have you guys heard of the Just Like Heaven Festival?
I don't like people, so I don't go out. So I really want to hear about your experience about being at the festival and what the crowd was like. What was that experience like? Well, who are the artists?
Well, this festival is kind of niche. It's kind of like for millennials. It's kind of bands from 2007-ish to 2012-ish. It was M83, Peaches, Fever Ray, MGMT. The headliner was the Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
Okay, I know who they are, and I know who Peaches are.
Yeah, Peaches was amazing. She had Christine come out. You know, Christine.
I love Christine. Okay, so this is niche. So since those are all niche artists, was it a niche audience? Did all the freaks come out at night?
Stephen, what do you think?
Probably mostly because it's LA. It's a pretty wide swath of people. I mean, the music was very niche, right? Like Blake said, it was very much a group of artists from a very specific genre and even a very specific chunk of time of that genre, which I think is kind of where music festivals are going, but that's another story. But the crowd was very respectful. We had no issues at all besides getting there and being dead sober. And as soon as people started, touching you in the crowd, like, it's crowded, it's like, ooh, I'm going to need alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we had a great time. I mean, granted, we got there at 1 p.m. in the afternoon and it ended at 11 p.m. So it was it was an all day thing, which definitely, I mean, Blake and I we turned 40 last year, so we were feeling it. But we had a great time, and so much so that we're going again this weekend.
Yeah, Golden Voice has these. It's every year. It's the next weekend is called Cruel World, and it's all bands that I bet Fenton you're going to want to go see this. Susie Sue is the headliner. It used to be
One of my
Oh,
all-time favorites, so I'm really
Okay.
freaking out about that one.
all right.
Billy Idol, The Human League, Love and Rockets, Echo and the Bunnymen, Adam
Oh.
Ant, Modern English,
The Pop Tarts, Fenton and
I
Randy.
wish.
Yeah.
Do you know though? I love that sort of electro phase of like sort of electro British pop in the
me too.
late 70s, early 80s, I guess. Right?
ABC. ABC will be there.
Oh.
Shoot that
Yeah.
poison arrow.
Animation. Yeah, this
Oh,
is
wow.
Animotion. Oh my
this
god.
festival. I'm even more excited than last weekend was really for Blake. This weekend's upcoming festival is really my sweet spot, and Blake wasn't initially going to come, but we had so much fun last weekend that he decided to get a ticket after all. But I've never seen Susie, who's one of my favorites, and I've never seen Echo and the Bunnymen, who's also one of my all-time favorites. So I'm very excited. Yeah.
And it's called, is it called Cruel World or Cool World?
Cruel.
Cruel. That's an interesting title for the genre.
Is Sparks gonna play? They were a big 80s band for me.
Oh, that would be so
Sparks. I love them.
good.
I had such a crush on both of them. And then who else? My very first British pop concert that I went to in the 80s was Haircut 100. Does
Oh,
anybody
no.
remember them?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Oh my
the
God.
cutest.
I had such a Nick Haywood.
Nick,
was the front-
impure thoughts about Nick
Oh
Haywood
my God,
every
he was
day.
so beautiful. I was just, I couldn't stop. He was my imaginary boyfriend all through high school.
Right.
Well,
All right, so that's Cruel World coming up. It's at the Rose Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Blake, if you do it live on Instagram, I'll watch. If you just hold your phone up. and just
Okay,
do a
I'll get
live
one of those.
broadcast.
I'll get one of those where it like sticks to my head or something.
Yes,
like
a GoPro on your head. I will.
Yeah.
I would love that.
All right.
All right, that's coming up this weekend. Number 8.
Number 8.
We don't always talk about this, but this is so delicious and satisfying and exciting.
Okay.
Ever since I first kind of heard of Rudolph Giuliani as a district attorney of New York in the 80s, I thought the guy was a douchebag. I just had a bad feeling about him, even when he was busting white-collar criminals on Wall Street. And so this week,
What did you
I
know?
shouldn't laugh, it's not funny. Noel Dunphy has filed a 10 million, 70-page lawsuit against him. She was hired to work in his once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to work in his business development department, person of one. She was going to be in charge of his business development. Annual salary of $1 million, of which it seems she didn't even ever receive a single dollar. Very, very little. And all he really wanted was sex, and forced her to blow him while he was on the phone with Trump because it made him feel like Clinton. You probably all saw the Sacha Baron Cohen Borat sequel.
Oh, so good. It was so easy to get access to him.
Right?
And he was just like, that just looked like his regular MO. Like, okay, here we go.
And I thought when that scene came out, in the scene, he goes into a bedroom. He thinks he's auditioning an actress or something. I can't quite remember the setup, but he goes into the bedroom and basically starts to undo his pants.
Yes,
He
she's
thinks he's
posing
about
as
to
an
get a-
Eastern European reporter.
Yes,
And-
that's right.
And then he just goes into, it's like he's on an Atlantis cruise. He goes right to his bed and starts unbuckling his pants.
Yes.
Like, okay, here comes the party. So you're saying that this woman is suing for not only past wages, $1 million that she hasn't received, but having to blow this.
Yeah,
douchebag.
I mean, repeatedly, because this scene in the Sacha Baron Cohen thing was very much, it sounded like it was her job. On conference calls, he would tell her to take off her clothes. I just went down a rabbit hole finding he would say things like, stick it up your ass, you're an effing slut, you're my bitch.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It just
That's so hot.
absolutely stunningly repulsive, abusive behavior. And he would also call her his daughter and his little girl. Right? Her other job, apart from blowing him, it appears, was to provide him with whiskey and alcohol at all times of the day and night, that he was basically plastered the entire time.
Right.
And you know what? Some of the coverage has been respectful in the sense of not going into all these details. And I was just like reading every article to get every possible detail. But it's like, you just know it's all true.
Oh yeah. What kind of receipts does she have? Does she have text messages? Does she have emails?
The best bit.
Okay.
She taped everything. But it's even better than that. It's even better than that. She didn't tape him covertly. She didn't tape him without his permission.
Yeah, it wasn't entrapment.
She had his permission to film and tape everything because she was supposed to be part of a business development, writing a book about him. So everything's on tape.
Wow.
All right. So, okay. So she has all that proof. She has the proof of the thing. His defense is going to go, why'd you continue to do it? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
They're going to say that's what his defense is going to be. But I love that it's like he's taken his legacy. Like, I love that you said that he gave you the creeps from the beginning, because everybody, he was the 9/11 mayor. He cleaned up 42nd Street. And, I like walking through Hell's Kitchen without being knifed or, but that kind of like sexy, seedy thing of New York City, I kind of miss it a little bit. I'm sorry to say, but that's all gone.
He also, I think, has the reputation for kind of decimating fun, queer New York queer culture, right? I mean, that's his legacy for sure.
Yeah,
one that most straight people have,
Yeah, he was an out and out fascist, basically, but he was also a narcissist, and doing it not because he believed in law and order, but because he believed, as so many fascists do, in personal advancement and amassing power. And it just speechless. But it's a very
also, he hasn't been paid by Trump. Did you know that? He hasn't been paid.
Right. Well, that might explain why she didn't get paid her $1 million annual
Didn't
salary.
trickle down. Sorry. Something else did, but that wasn't cash.
I know, right? Watch this space, because I think there's going to be a lot more to come from that. Blake, have you got a question for us?
I do. What actress wore a wedding dress to her friend's wedding?
All right. Teasing question. We'll have the answer right after the break here on the Wow Report.
It's a good one.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. I'm Fenton. Special lineup of guests this week. We got Stephan Horbelt, we've got Blake, and we have Alec Mapa.
It's all for you, Damien.
So before the break, Blake, you had a question for us.
I did. What actress wore a wedding dress to her friend's wedding?
I don't know. Susan Sarandon.
Shut the fuck up, Susan.
Oh, wow. It would have to be. I have no idea. You stumped me. You stumped the stumper.
I feel like there's got to be several that would pull something like that. But
actress, famous actress. There's no hint, huh? No.
Well, she's also a director.
She's a director also. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Sofia Coppola? Does she count as an actress?
No. Olivia Wilde.
Oh.
She wore it was to Colton Underwood's wedding.
Why did she do that?
Why would you do that?
I guess because she thinks it's a gay wedding, or I don't really understand what.
It's just, does she not understand that it's somebody else's special day and that she's already an actress and a celebrity? Like, can you give somebody else the attention for one goddamn second?
She wrote on her Instagram,
did that ever occur to her?
Wore a wedding dress to a wedding so I could make a joke about it in my toast.
All right. Well, at least she was invited. We weren't invited, so.
That's No. I'd
We
be
are
like, Olivia,
counting.
it's not your day. I have opinions about this. Just
Yeah.
that kind of like, I'm Asian, so we're all about consensus. Like, is this okay with you? Am I taking up too much space? Have I breathed your oxygen? I'm just asking if everybody else is okay. So to kind of hijack somebody's special day like that, it's, when Olivia and I meet in person, we'll have a talk about it.
Well, Olivia is a fervent devotee of this show, so Alec will probably be cutting all this out.
Olivia, are we editing everything? Does everything? I can't, like,
like-
are you in bed with everybody, Fenton? Are you like?
That's the way to go, honey. Go to
We have
bed
to
with
cut the
everybody.
Rudy Giuliani story out too.
Right.
Oh my gosh, because Rudy Giuliani listens to the show, and he'll have something to say about all the texts. Okay.
Let's move on in our countdown to number 7. Oh gosh, it's me.
Number 7.
Oh, it's you.
Oh my God, another self-promotional opportunity. Well, on Drag Race All Stars, they had Money, Success, Fame, Glamour was the was the challenge. And so that gave us the crass idea to re-release the original track from 1988 or something. So that's what we've done. Originally produced by Charlie Roth and Bill Coleman. You know Bill Coleman, who runs Peace Biscuit, manages Ultra Nate, was the man kind of really responsible for the discovery of D-Light, and helped us out many, many times. He persuaded me and Randy to go back into the studio and record the vocals again. No, it was awful. It was like,
oh, shut up. No, listen, I'm going to stop you because I saw you guys perform back in the 80s. We both did a Pride together on the pier. I was too shy to talk to anybody. I was part of a stand-up group that included Leah Delaria and me and all those children. And the Pop-Tarts came out. You were both in shorts and kind of like these cute little shirts, matching shirts. You were just adorable. And you had choreography and everything. So you were adorable. Yeah. Thank you.
I want to see this.
Yeah. So why were the vocals bad? You said you went back in and it was
honey, I could never sing. I just like practically turned deaf. And but the miracle now is that digitally you can sound like a sort of screaming seagull or strangled chicken, and it comes out sounding fantastic.
Yes.
So I can finally sing thanks to the miracle technology.
That's great.
Yeah. So we have new mixes of Money, Success, Fame, Glamour, produced by Bill Coleman, and they are going to be on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your music.
All right, this is what we're going to do, Fenton. Yeah. This is the plan. Okay, we're going to relaunch the Pop-Tarts, but as an AI, animation, so that you could see what you look like in the 80s. And then we could do videos. You can do endless things like Duran Duran, just kind of relaunch them as this.
I love that idea.
Yeah, I love
it. And sort of be reborn as the twink I always wanted to be.
Be reborn. You're a reborn AI twink.
I love it. I love it. I'm there already.
You're welcome, by the way, for that idea.
Thank you.
I expect content by this afternoon.
Your check is in the mail.
You're welcome.
Let's move on to number 6.
Number 6.
Very quickly, I just want to say last night, Stephen and I watched the Anna Nicole documentary called Anna Nicole Smith, You Don't Know Me on Netflix. I've always loved Anna Nicole. I don't know why. She was always bubbly. I remember where I was the day she died. It was so sad. This documentary goes pretty in depth. Some of the things I didn't even know, like she OD'd right after the Guess campaign. And that's kind of what led to the downfall, like William Morris dropping her and all that stuff.
What's she OD on? What was she taking?
She had, what was it that she had some kind of surgery. She got her boobs done. And she got on pain pills and never got off of them.
So at one point,
pain pills.
someone that they interviewed gave the list of what she was taking, and it was at least 7 different things. I mean,
Oh my
she was
God.
taking everything, and they basically said that once she started, she never stopped because she was addicted to, opiates, and you can't
I
stop.
wasn't a fan of the reality show because she was clearly altered the entire time, in the same way that I wasn't a fan of the Whitney Houston show because she looked really messed up. And clearly, like, as somebody who's led a nightlife, I've done a shit ton of drugs and alcohol and whatever. Like, watching that, it was just like, this isn't cute. It's like, it felt exploitative. So did it go into that about the people who are handling her? Did they disabuse her of a lot of things?
It sort of did, but it kind of painted them as like enablers, to where like Anna Nicole was like, if you don't do this for me, then I'll find someone who will and cut you out, It also explained a lot of like what happened after her death with like the paternity of Danny Lynn. Remember when she moved to the Bahamas and no one really understood why? And then after the death, there was, who was the baby's daddy? Was it Howard K. Stern or was it
Right.
Burkhead? Well, it was, she wanted to get pregnant and didn't really care who it was by. And she kind of picked Burkhead. And it was supposed to be an agreement that he was, not going to fight her for custody or whatever. Well, he ended up wanting custody. And she found out if she moved to the Bahamas, whoever signs the birth certificate is the father.
Okay.
So she flew there and had Howard K. Stern sign it. And that's why it was in the Bahamas.
I'm curious about what were the revelations for you both on this documentary, because I just watched the Brooke Shields one on Hulu, which was fantastic. About kind of like, it revealed her intellect, her experience of being a child with a mother who controlled everything, and now being a grown woman who's like, it's almost reframing that entire narrative. Was it like that?
Well, I guess they were revelations, but I think around Anna Nicole, there was so much that we saw it happening in real time, but didn't understand why.
Right.
And I think, this is very much trying to explain like what was,
exactly
the reasoning behind all of these. For me, though, and I don't know if this is such a revelation either. I mean, everyone knows that she's gorgeous, but I think seeing all of this footage of her so long after she's, no longer with us, it really, like, she was so gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, and towards the end of her life, she was such a mess, and it was amazing to see this really old footage of her where she wasn't kind of tainted by a drug addiction yet. Footage of her when she was very young. And yeah, it was just all the more sad remembering how gorgeous she was, and then obviously seeing what eventually happened to
Have
her.
you seen the Pamela Anderson documentary?
I have, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's the same thing about like how she had this beauty that was her currency. And then what do you do when that currency runs out, when you're not the girl of the moment? What kind of resources do you have left? And it doesn't sound as if Anna Nicole had any resources on her own, to kind of, the intellect or the know-how to kind of like fish herself out of, it's, that's.
But she is endlessly fascinating and definitely sort of legendary. So I think it'll do really well. And it's on Netflix. What's it called, Blake?
It is called Anna Nicole Smith, You Don't Know Me.
All right.
You don't know me.
Now, Alec, Mapa, you're someone we don't know. And you're number 5.
Number 5.
I'm an enigma wrapped in an onion. What?
Well, I thought you might want to talk about your new season of.
Oh, while you're out at work or you're going on a date and you've left the kids at home, I'm entertaining them on Disney Plus. I am premiering in my 2nd season of The Villains of Valley View, where I play Principal Tennyson. And at the high school that the kids go to, they're basically super villains who are hiding out in suburban They're like the Incredibles, but they're all bad guys. And I'm the Mrs. Kravitz of the show. I remember on Bewitched, there was always the nosy neighbor, like, there's Samantha, the Stevens are up to something. Like, I'm the Charles Nelson Riley, Uncle Arthur character of the show, who is just, he's amoral and awful and so much fun to play. And I found my calling. If you want to overact for a living, get onto a Disney sitcom. It's heaven.
Do you like playing villains most of all? Is that
I
your
love
favorite?
it. Yeah, because the great thing about a villain is you're playing somebody who just never gets what they want. They want it so badly. And so when they get closer to getting what they want, they're gleeful. Oh my God, I'm so close. And it's just like, I always play villains as like, oh, this is so much fun. I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to get what I want. And they never do. So it's, I think everybody can relate to that. and villains always, they're never at a loss for words. So it's great.
Disney villains always seem to be very gay and flamboyant and fabulous. So
and that's me. I'm the Disney villain of that show. And the thing is, like, the whole premise of the show is they are villains who are trying to become good people. By hiding out in suburbia, they are trying to become, they're discovering the moral universe and ethics and doing the right thing. And that's the struggle. But they're also surrounded by terrible people. And I'm one of the terrible people. Like, I'm the bad example. Oh, don't be like that guy.
So did you have to audition?
No.
That says it all.
Yeah, no, they knew I was evil from the beginning. So it's great. And we just filmed the Christmas episode. And somebody refers to me like, I think they're a villain. So I think season 3, you might find out that I might be a villain. Who knows? But it premieres June 15th on the Disney Channel and Disney Plus. And you can watch the first season. They're both available now on those platforms.
You're such a talented actor. It's always a delight to watch you. It really is.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Blake, you'll have to cut that bit out. All right, let's take one more break. Have you got a question, Blake?
This one isn't a real question, but this past Tuesday, 2 men were swarmed by bees in Encino, just outside of Los Angeles, sending one of them to the hospital. And I'll tell you why there are more bees in our area this year and what you can do if you're caught in a swarm after the break.
All right. I wish I had a pun ready for like some sort of, we'll buzz right back or something. I don't know.
Be ready.
Yeah.
Be ready. Thank you.
Be ready. We'll be right back with all the buzz.
There you go.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
And welcome back to the Wow Report. Fenton here with Alec, Stephen, Blake, and a breaking news update about bees.
Yeah. It's not really a trivia question I had, but a couple of guys got swarmed by bees in Encino, which is just outside of Los Angeles. Now, do you guys know why there are so many bees this year?
Does it have anything to do with the rain?
There you go.
That has produced all the flowers.
Exactly.
So, okay. Well, there you go. I know a thing or two about a thing or two.
There you go. And if you get caught in a swarm, don't run around in circles and flail your arms. You're supposed to immediately go inside or try to get into a car. And don't kill the swarm.
So that you're trapped with bees in your car, because that's
no. Really, is there a procedure to, like, if you're caught in a swarm, what you're supposed to do? Just get away and get into a car.
In fact, on the tape, I was watching the tape of this very incident, and the guy tried to get into a car, but it seemed like the people inside the car wouldn't open the door.
Smart people.
This also says if you get stung, you want to scratch it out with a fingernail instead of pinching the venom into you.
Okay.
So I guess scratch it instead of pinch it.
Okay. I have a bee story that I'd like to share really, really quickly. There was a tree that was on my property, but it's in the back of a fence. So it was in somebody else's yard. There's a big beehive in there, and they wanted to get rid of the tree because there were kids back there. They had little babies. So I said, all right. So my husband and I what was the guy, the hot guy who used to live? Hot Josh lived on the corner next to me. So I had to go around the corner while the bees were being taken down the hive. One of the bees followed me back to my house. Was so angry about it. Followed me. Hot Josh, my neighbor. That's what we call him. Big guy. He always wears sweatpants and no underwear. You do the math. So I'm in front of Hot Josh and he goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, we're having a hive removed. A bee bit me on the eye, just like Matthew Broderick in Election. And I was trying to look all cute in front of Hot Josh while my eye is swelling up and while I'm in pain in front of him. And he was like, "Dude, did a bee just bite you in the eye?" And I was like, no, I'm fine. And I had to like pull the bee out of my eye. And so it's like any chance of me getting together with Hot Josh was ruined by a bee.
And you know that when a bee stings you, it dies. So that poor bee lost its life so that you could
lost its life. Cock blocked me and then lost its life, which I think is a fair exchange. It's like that's what you get.
Well, get all the tea on bees in the Emmy Award-winning documentary "The Last Beekeeper" on Wild Presents Plus.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's good. That. Did you see that? That's like silk off a spool. That was beautiful.
There you go. Number 4. This is a very quick, tiny thing. You ever go to a hotel and you go in the shower and there's 3 bottles? There's the body wash, there's the shampoo, and the conditioner. And you're like, oh, but I look on the print is too small to read. And you're naked in the shower. And which one do you use? And I was made aware of, I thought it was just me and my agingness, but this is a big issue. And
all right. What do you do? Do you just hold it up? I'm nearsighted and I have astigmatism. So I can't bring my cheaters into the shower. I just have to look at it really close. Is that what you do?
I did this, like I did the pinhole thing, and that didn't work. So now what I do is I go in and I put the shampoo in a separate place. So I know that that's the shampoo. Except then I get muddled up and I'm like, well, is that the body wash or is that the shampoo? Which one did I put? Okay. So why didn't they just print it bigly?
This is literally a white lady problem. Hashtag white lady problems. This is like, in the finer hotels, you will get lotion, shampoo, conditioner. Anybody who's staying at a Days Inn or Day Suite by the airport will not have this problem. But I'm going to treat it as a legitimate problem because I don't want to invalidate your experience.
Well, and they make 3-in-1s for people like you, where you can have body wash, face
shampoo,
wash, and shampoo all in one.
And a mouthwash.
No self-respecting queer man would use a 3-in-1.
And a dessert topping. It's like it's all in one. It's
and a lube.
And a lube. And a lube.
Well, that's it. That's all. I just, my plea to the shampoo makers.
Make the print bigger on the shampoo, everybody. Please. Just do it.
I'm the victim here.
Yeah. No, you're the victim here. You're the wronged party. I agree. My client had suffered their emotional suffering during his vacation and spent a great deal of money and would like a full refund plus emotional damages. How about a giant S, a C, and then a W for those things for the body wash?
Well, I suppose yes, that would work.
That would work.
Yes,
yeah, that would work.
All right, moving on. Number 3.
Problems.
Yeah. We're doing the Lord's work today, you guys. I don't know if you know, but we are literally saving the world. So give yourselves a big pat in the back.
Well, speaking of people saving the world, this one's super quick too. Number 3. Stephan showed me this video last night of it's like this Nazi rally in DC or something. And this guy wheels up on a bike and he just starts screaming dumb things. So that, what does he say? He sounds kind of gay, which is the funny part of it.
Right.
He's like, none of your pants match. You bought your khakis from Walmart.
Yeah, you wear Walmart khakis is my favorite.
So wait, was he dressed in Nazi garb as well?
No. I think he's a
he was just
a protester.
Okay.
And he just let them have it.
Yeah.
He was
And I'll post
heckling Nazis sartorially. I love that.
the
He also,
Nazi heckler.
I think at one point he was screaming at them, "Show your face, losers!" Because of course they were all masked up. None of
Oh
them
yeah,
were
that's so
showed their
cowardly.
face.
That's so cowardly.
At one point he said they were reclaiming their virginity. He called them incels. But it really is. It will convince you that, you know, maybe we're not all going to hell in a handbasket. There are still good people out there. It was so funny. This guy is my new favorite queer icon. I let him know. He was tagged in a comment. They found who he was.
Fabulous.
And yeah, I let him know that he is my favorite person of the week. It's really, really funny.
He's
Well,
the
you know,
resistor of the week.
Mel Brooks-
Let's give
I'm
him a
sorry, go ahead.
shout out. What's his name?
What's his name?
Absolutely. Let me try and find it.
Mel Brooks famously said during the producers, you know, how could you put Nazis in a musical? How could you do a movie about making fun of Hitler? And he goes, Hitler was so awful. The only way you could disarm him is by mocking him.
Mhm.
The only victory we could have over this evil person, past, present, or future, is by mocking them. And for this guy to take the wind out of the sails of these Nazis is brilliant. That's just the most powerful thing any of us could ever do.
I agree. And it's also worth saying the police had cordoned off the area around the Nazis that were protesting. And so there's a policeman kind of keeping him, you know, at a safe distance. And so his name is Joe Flood. I found him.
Yes.
JoeFlood. That's his Instagram handle, so everyone can go find him. I did notice that within a day, I think his Instagram followers went from maybe 1,500 to close to 10,000 now. So people are watching the video and are kind of, you know, giving him his flowers. But he said at one point that the police officer who was holding him back couldn't hold it back and was also laughing at all of these things that you know, that kind of gives me a little bit of hope too, right? We don't always connote, you know, the police with the right side of things. So I thought that was great too. But definitely worth finding this video. I think
I'll post it on the WoW Report.
It's the way to go. I mean, there were protesters outside of DragCon, and you know, everybody vogued in front of them. Everybody twerked in front of them. There was a guy dressed as Jesus who was there for the human rights campaign, holding a sign that trans people belong. Drag is not a crime. So Jesus went out, and this guy was hot. He was like hot, sexy Jesus. He went out and posed with them and said, "You guys are getting all of this wrong." So the only way is to mock these people. Is, you know, if they're bananas, and to wear a mask. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to be a hateful person, own it. Own it.
Yeah.
Take off your freaking mask. If you're part of the KKK, let everybody know.
All right. Resistor of the week, Joe Flood. Yeah, we'll post the link on the WoW Report. Number 2, something totally different.
Number 2.
Alec, I saw an Instagram comment from you on the cover of Architectural Digest this month.
Yes. Oh, Architectural Digest has posted RuPaul's house. A RuPaul's house tour, and then RuPaul posted on their Instagram the picture of him in front of the house. And so my comment was, I've just invited myself over for game night. Lock your medicine cabinet.
Yeah, it's a good one. It is a stunning house. Isn't the word I would use. I would say sort of mansion or palace, I would say.
The palace.
Really.
It's so beautiful.
Gorgeous.
It's so beautiful. On the exterior is kind of like plain. It's very plain white, but inside it's filled with color and a lot of orange and a lot of pattern and a lot of what you would expect from somebody who often says they love every single crayon in the crayon box.
Yeah.
And he says in the YouTube video that his dressing room is his favorite room. It has all of the drag in it. It's like
it's a drag archive.
Oh my God. It is Barbie's dream house. If Barbie were RuPaul. I want the dream house version of that. That's another product you could sell in World of Wonder. The RuPaul dream house to go along with the RuPaul doll.
That's a good idea. Or do a Lego version of it or
You're
something.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome again.
Yeah, thank you. It's getting so much good ideas from you
I
this week.
know.
I love is it a dining room with like, I don't know how many massive disco mirror balls.
26 mirror balls.
I was going to say that was my favorite room. It's like the daytime disco party room, right? And yeah, he said 26, I think, disco balls.
26 disco balls.
Amazing. And amazing black and white photography on all of the walls in that room. That was and a beautiful fireplace also. That was my favorite room for sure.
Okay, you guys, the La Coruna oven, the Italian oven.
Yep. The orange oven.
The orange oven.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
He can't even cook.
I have the knockoff version in my kitchen. It's red. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, I love that. I love
red.
that.
Well, the dish rag is like, but it's red. But it's not La Coruna. I think it's La Tuna or something. La Tuna Canyon.
It looks like the easy bake version. It's kind of tiny.
It's powered by a light bulb. That's what you get. That's what I get on my current salary at Disney.
Well, let's all hope we get invited over.
You haven't been to the house?
No, I've just seen the photos. I mean, how can it be better in person than in the photos? Because it's Instagram perfect, isn't it? I mean, it just looks
the office,
gorgeous.
That office, the working office with the he has like a meeting desk in the working office and little desks at the side. Beautiful.
I'll be like, Ru, we need to have a meeting immediately.
Beautiful, immediately. Yeah, at your workspace.
Yeah. All right, one more break, and then very excited. Stephen, you've been so patient. We're going to reveal the number one thing this week that made us go, wow. And baby, it's you, Stephen.
So excited.
I'm honored.
Come back after the break and find out why.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. I'm Fenton here with Alec and Blake and Stephen, who is this week's number one.
Number one.
Because
number one.
I'm very excited to announce that I am staging my very first art show. I am not an artist by trade, I guess. I've worked in queer media for the last 20 years. But right before the pandemic, I decided that I wanted to kind of try my hand at something to kind of, occupy my mind and my hands. And so I decided that I wanted to try out little embroidery pieces, right? And so I bought, or I had bought for me, actually. I asked for Christmas for these little, dinky little kits to make your own embroidery pieces. And I still have the very first one I ever made, which was a cactus in a pot. But then I also didn't know that we were all going to be put under a 2-year pandemic lockdown. And so I found myself wanting to kind of do larger, more interesting pieces. And then I figured out that I wasn't able to kind of find kits and patterns for the pieces that I thought were interesting. And so I kind of took it upon myself to, I guess, think outside the box a bit. And and I started working on larger, more intricate pieces. And
when you say embroidery, I'm picturing samplers. But you're saying it's a bigger medium than that. Like the spaces are all filled in. Are they multicolored?
Yes. So it's a couple different formats of kind of embroidery. So some of it I would call more like almost thread painting, right? Where you're kind of painting an image with thread instead of paint. Right. And then others are technically a cross stitch, right? So you're kind of creating an image out of really tiny cross-shaped stitches.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you know how to do that. You know how to like assemble all the colors so that it's almost like a pointillist thing where you're like
it's very much like pointillism, yes, which I've always been a huge fan of. So studying art in elementary school through high school and college, Sarah, who's famous.
So you're the George Sarah of embroidery.
Did you ever have any idea that this was your thing? Did you, as a kid, have a yen to do it? Because the talent is amazing. Like one of my favorite pieces, as I think you know, is this Maplethorpe photograph of a crotch, sort of S&M leather.
Oh
and
my
Stephen
God.
has created this massive embroidery piece that is so beautiful. It's just so outrageous on the one hand, it's this sort of S&M thing, but then it's embroidered. It's like the sort of
That's so
Exactly.
beautiful. I love the mixture of this wholesome kind of thing
Yeah.
with doing a homoerotic version of that. That's super interesting. Now,
Yeah.
I heard you say Maplethorpe. Is it that famous one of the black gentleman with his penis sticking out of his trousers?
It's
You know
not.
what? You
It's
all know what
not.
I'm talking about,
But I
right?
do know, I know
do.
exactly the image
Yeah.
yeah, that Maplethorpe piece is I think the piece I'm most proud of, it took about 18 months. It's probably more than 150,000 individual stitches.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's probably a few drops of blood from needle pricks in that piece too,
Yeah.
which I think Maplethorpe would probably like.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a recreation of a famous Maplethorpe photo called Leather Crotch.
Yeah.
Like you said, Finn, it's an S&M kind of, but I think, but both of you kind of nailed it, what I'm going for, which is this idea of kind of subverting the subject matter, right? So
Yeah.
this Maplethorpe image, I have a lot of Tom of Finland
I was about to
pieces, right?
say.
So these leather daddies, but they're done in what is kind of stereotypically this very feminine art medium.
Mhm.
So I love that kind of juxtaposition. I also have a little mini series of Dante's Inferno has always been my favorite piece of literature. I studied it in high school and in college. And so I've recreated a few map diagrams of Dante's Inferno
The
in
ninth
thread.
circle.
Yep. I think that's
Wow.
about where our country is right about now, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, I had no idea that it would turn into kind of this thing that I do every day while I'm sitting on the couch watching television. But it's proven to be very meditative. It keeps me from
Mhm.
yelling at people on Twitter, which I think is, you know, that's
I
a good thing.
disabled my account. I couldn't take it anymore. It's just so sad.
Smart.
Where can we see your art? Is there a
Ah.
site?
Thursday, we're
what-
having an
yeah.
opening at the World of Wonder Gallery next
Okay.
Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Yeah, and everybody's welcome. RSVP at events@worldofwonder.net.
Oh,
Please
wow.
do.
Yeah.
There will be, I think it's going to be 26 pieces, all of which will be for sale, ranging a wide range of price points. But yeah, everyone, please come. I'm thrilled to kind of, have this air of legitimacy around what I do on the couch every night. It's
I
great.
think it's so exciting. I want to see the Maplethorpe because it's like this is like you've opened a can of worms in terms of this media. I mean, you could go anywhere. I'm thinking of the Maplethorpe portrait, that self-portrait he did with a bullwhip up his butt where
Yes.
he's looking
Yep.
back at the
Yep.
camera. But
Yep.
I also like the subversion of Norman Rockwell. Like taking all of the Norman Rockwell stuff and making that homoerotic or same sex, like this wholesome Americana, and just kind of like reframing it through the queer lens, I think would be really exciting.
Well, come on down to the WoW Gallery next Thursday. That would be great.
So
and
exciting.
Alec, if you're at a loose end on Saturday, come to the WoW Gallery as well, because the Teletubbies are in person doing a pop-up. They've turned the World of Wonder Gallery into sort of Teletubby land, and it's quite spectacular.
Oh
And
my gosh.
there's nothing better than a Teletubby up
June
close.
when? June.
No, it's this weekend. It looks
It's
like
this weekend.
Yeah,
Okay.
tomorrow. Yeah.
All right. We should also
Yeah.
mention that Don't Fuck It Up is being released June 6th. The actual book, you can pre-order that on Amazon, and the audiobook will be coming out at that time as well, read by me.
I love it. Well, that's all we got time for this week.
Oh, it goes by so fast.
I know. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Alec. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Stephen. Good luck next week. And thank you,
so
Blake. Same time, same place next week. Until then, go out and do something that makes the world go
Wow.